I was always hungry for love. Just once, I wanted to know what it was like to get my fill of it, to be fed so much love I couldn't take any more. Just once. Anyone who falls in love is searching for the missing pieces of themselves. So anyone who's in love gets sad when they think of their lover. It's like stepping back inside a room you have fond memories of one you haven't seen in a long time. People fall in love without reason, without even wanting to. You can't predict it. That's love. Maybe it's just hiding somewhere, or gone on a trip to come home. But falling in love is always a pretty crazy thing. I just don't get it, he told her. I love you so much. I want us to be one. This couldn't be clearer to me or more important. I don't care if it's unrealistic. That's how much I love you. We're both looking at the same moon in the same world. We're connected to reality by the same line. All I have to do is quietly draw it towards me. For a certain kind of person, love begins from something tiny or silly, from something like that, or it doesn't begin at all. No mistake about it. Ice is cold, roses are red, I'm in love. And this love is about to carry me off somewhere. Sometimes when I look at you, I feel I'm gazing at a distant star. It's dazzling, but the light is from tens of thousands of years ago. Maybe the star doesn't even exist anymore. Yet sometimes that light seems more real to me than anything. It's not as if our lives are divided simply into light and dark. There's shadowy middle ground. Recognizing and understanding the shadows is what a healthy intelligence does. And to acquire a healthy intelligence takes a certain amount of time and effort. Life is not like water. Things in life don't necessarily flow over the shortest possible route. In the midst of life, everything revolved around death. Even if we could turn back, we'd probably never end up back where we started. Even chance meetings are the result of karma. Things in life are fated by our previous lives. That even in the smallest events, there's no such thing as coincidence. As we go through life, we gradually discover who we are, but the more we discover, the more we lose ourselves. What we call the present is given shape by an accumulation of the past. People die all the time. Life is a lot more fragile than we think. So you should treat others in a way that leaves no regrets, fairly and if possible, sincerely. One foot in front of the other. Repeat as often as necessary to finish. What we seek is some kind of compensation for what we put up with. Remove everything pointless from an imperfect life and it'd lose even its imperfection. I dream. Sometimes I think that's the only right thing to do. Narrow minds devoid of imagination, intolerance, theories cut off from reality, empty terminology, usurped ideals, inflexible systems. Those are the things that really frighten me. The better you were able to imagine what you wanted to imagine, the farther you could flee from reality. The answer is dreams. Dreaming on and on, entering the world of dreams and never coming out, living in dreams for the rest of time. Dreams come from the past. not from the future. Dreams shouldn't control you. You should control them. It's just like Yeats said, in dreams begin responsibilities. Flip this round and you could say that where there's no power to imagine, no responsibility can rise. In this world, there are things you can only do alone and things you can only do with somebody else. It's important to combine the two in just the right amount. I could hear the roots of loneliness creeping through me when the world was hushed at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I get real lonely sleeping with you. Two people can sleep in the same bed and still be alone when they close their eyes. Why do people have to be this lonely? What's the point of it all? Millions of people in this world, all of them yearning, looking to others to satisfy them, yet isolating themselves. Why? Nobody likes being alone that much. I don't go out of my way to make friends, that's all. It just leads to disappointment. I realize full well how hard it must be to go on living alone in a place from which someone has left you, but there is nothing so cruel in this world as the desolation of having nothing to hope for. An empty shell. Those were the first words that sprang to mind. Something incredibly important had disappeared from you for good, leaving behind not life, but its absence. The human heart is like a night bird, silently waiting for something, and when the time comes, it flies straight toward it. What matters is deciding in your heart to accept another person completely. When you do that, it is always the first time and the last. For a long time, she held a special place in my heart. I kept this special place just for her, like a reserved sign on a quiet corner table in a restaurant, despite the fact that I was sure I'd never see her again. What happens when people open their hearts? They get better. I sometimes think that people's hearts are like deep wells. Nobody knows what's at the bottom. All you can do is imagine by what comes floating to the surface every once in a while. If you can love someone with your whole heart, even one person, then there's salvation in life. Even if you can't get together with that person,